Welcome, guys. My name is Eleni Summershields. I am the Chief Operating Officer here at Wise Agent, and I am joined today by G, who is the co-founder and CMO at Ylopo. We also have a couple of other people with us today. I think, hey, Barry, I think.
Yeah, you're under Gabe Cordova.
Your name is showing up.
The link that is in my calendar was Gabe's. For I guess I didn't know that.
Okay, there we go.
Anyway,
your name changed.
Yeah, Gabe will be here. Gabe will be here shortly.
All right, and Barry is the resident realtor at Ylopo, so we're excited to have you guys on. And I know Gabe will be joining us here in a minute as well. Yep. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be talking today on how to your lead generation and follow up with Wise Agent and Ylopo. And there's Gabe right now. Here we go. Hi there.
Hey, Gabe.
Owen. Sorry about that. Barry and I are just jumping from another one.
That's okay. We're excited to have you guys with us. So if you guys haven't heard, Wise Agent recently integrated with Ylopo. We just announced this integration a couple of days ago. We've been working on it for quite some time now. And our teams have had this great, synergy, and we've been doing some great things for everyone. So we're excited to be showing that off today. G, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Ylopo and what you guys do, and we'll get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for that intro. And, exactly as Eleni said, we've been working on this integration for quite some time now, and we think it is extremely robust as any other CRM integration we've done that's best in class. So appreciate all of the work from everyone involved. We didn't do much, but our teams did a lot, right?
Yes, our teams did do a lot. They did.
Yeah, exactly. What I'll say is for today's webinar, so Ylopo does a ton of stuff. We are in my opinion, premier digital marketing platform in residential real estate. And what's different about us is we made a decision to focus on digital marketing, which is its whole own world. And we said, let's partner with the best in class CRMs that are already great at being a CRM instead of trying to do both, which is what the quote unquote all-in-one platforms do. We consider ourselves a one-to-all platform. We integrate with all platforms. In terms of all of the things we do, it is a tremendous amount, and what I recommend is you guys who are interested by the end of this webinar, go to ylopo.com/wiseagent. And on that page, you will see our integration. You can fill out the form. We have a special offer for all of you. And get a full demo of our platform, right? You're going to see all of the things that we offer. What we want to do today is, introduce our integration Wise Agent and talk about what Ylopo specifically does to help you generate and nurture and close your seller leads, right? We manage over $2.5 million of ad spend per month. And we have seen a sizable shift of our clients going from buyer marketing, home searcher marketing into seller marketing. And so this is, in my opinion, the hottest topic there is to talk about within the industry when it comes to digital marketing, right? And Ylopo, we believe we have the best suite of technologies for generating, nurturing, closing seller leads that are on the market. And so that's what we want to talk about today. I am the co-founder and CMO/CPO, Chief Marketing and Chief Product Officer of Ylopo. That means all of the problems are my fault. And so, you can always blame me, and then I'll blame someone else on my team.
That's a good definition for your title. That's a great definition.
Yes. So I've got Barry and Gabe on as well. Barry and Gabe, if you can quickly introduce yourselves, but they are both senior realtor in residences for Ylopo, which at the end of the day means that they're actually high producing team leaders who will use Ylopo at the highest level that we said, wow, wouldn't it be nice if we could replicate what they're doing for all of our clients? And now they're, our realtor voice on our, management team in terms of, what agents actually need on the ground, right? So Barry and Gabe, can you quickly introduce yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Barry Jenkins. I run the Juefeng fan club. I also run the #1 team in the state of Virginia. We do between 800 and 900 sales a year. And I have been with Ylopo since 2016. They hired me because my team crushed it right away. When I use the word innovation, that we innovate, I'm not playing with that word. The team truly is coming up with technology that is very unique, and they understand the pain point of the agent and at the CRM level, which is why an integration like this is so important, because then you get the best in class CRM that's focused on being the best CRM that they know how to be, with the best in class digital marketing firm. No, I think we are. I know we are, because we're using it anyway. Gabe?
Yeah, Gabe Cordova. I've been running a team in Boise for about 15, 16 years, really specializing in online lead generation, and just spinning up a team in the Denver market now as well. And came on with Ylopo in January, and really kind of out of a passion of, and G hit on this earlier, working with and side by side with a company that really wants to focus on one thing and do it really, really well, and not take agents out of their ecosystems, their CRM, where they're at, but yet focus on the activity, the lead generation, and opportunities, and then feed those into the database. And that's really what Barry and I spend most of our time now, is sharing what we're doing, how we're taking all of that activity and everything that's happening on Ylopo, all that automation, and then sending it over into their CRM so that they can start converting, sharing our practices, how we're looking at things, how we're scripting it, and letting the CRM focus on building the CRM, the tools and everything, and letting Ylopo do everything else. So it's really putting everybody in their lane and allowing them to do what they do best. So really excited to see these integrations, and again, letting agents stay where they're at, but just bring the activity to them.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what we do here at Wise Agent. We love integrations. I love working on integrations because it just means taking what we do really well and, connecting with other top technology companies in the real estate sector that do what they do really well, and, putting those together so then you get the best of both worlds without, like Gabe said, without having to leave, you've got your CRM here, and you need to have that marketing, that the lead generation component of it. You guys do that really well, and we love integrating with you guys. So then that's something that kind of just works all well together. So that's awesome. I know that we've had a couple of questions. I wanted to just, because I know there's some, I've gotten some questions here. This is being recorded. We are on Facebook Live, so you can also find it there. At the end of the webinar, you'll get a copy of the recording in your inbox. You can also find it on Facebook, on Facebook as well, and then we'll post it on YouTube, so it'll live, somewhere online forever and ever. If you have any questions, post those in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll get to those as well. All right, so I know that we're going to be talking today about, the seller leads. That's really a really hot topic right now with what's happening just across the country. I mean, it's just it is kind of a seller's market out there. So G, do you want to kind of take it from here and show everyone what and how Ylopo does the marketing for generating seller listings, seller leads?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my PowerPoint here and we will blaze through this. So yeah, let's talk about the Ylopo Seller Suite and what we do. And I think this will give you guys some context as well into, kind of the rest of the Ylopo Suite, because we are all about generating, nurturing, and closing leads. So the first thing I'll say is we have so many different things we do for sellers that we put together a website for you, a microsite. It is just ylopo.com/seller. And what we do on this page is we actually share with you every single thing that we do for sellers in all of these different tabs, right? So you can see a list of our full tools. And then if you want to go deeper, you can book a full demo, right? So my first recommendation is if you see this and you find it really compelling, go to ylopo.com/seller, and we are going to give you a lot more details of all of our seller tools. So let me get started. I'm going to start with lead generation when it comes to sellers, because this is obviously you've got to have inbound leads in order to convert sellers. There's two ways that we're going to generate seller leads for you at Ylopo. The primary mechanism is seller pay-per-click marketing, right? This is someone going on Google saying, what's my home worth? And seeing in an ad that attracts them to come into your site and look for the valuation of their home, right? And when it comes to seller pay-per-click marketing, there's a limited number of keywords, right? Sell my home fast, what's my home worth, what's market trends in my area, etc. Every marketer who knows how to do seller PPC should have the same set of keywords. It's not like buyers where I can target every nook and the cranny in the country of people looking for subdivisions, homes for sale, automate the whole thing, right? The keywords are very similar. The ads that you show the consumer are also very similar because everyone's bidding on the same keywords, right? So what are we doing different, and what is so important when it comes to seller lead generation? It is the experience you give the consumer once they come to your website, right? And what we found is that the vast majority of what's my home worth type experiences are all bait and switches. They ask you to fill out a form, and at the end of that form, they say, an agent will contact you to give you an evaluation. That's not what the consumer wants to sign up for, right? They want to see immediate results, and they want to see what it is that, what their estimated home worth actually is. And so what we did was we explored the entire market for what is the best in class homeowner experience that we can give to the consumer when they register. And that's why we partnered with a company called HomeBot. HomeBot is, in our opinion, the industry leader in seller nurture, and we're going to show you exactly why. So the consumer is going to come to our home search website or seller website. They're going to enter their address. They're going to give us their contact information, and then they're going to answer some qualifying questions for us, like where they are in the home search process or the seller process. And once they register on our site, we take them directly into a HomeBot experience, right? So why am I talking about HomeBot? Why is this such a big deal? Because HomeBot not only gives you a AVM of your property, which is the automated valuation model, what their estimated home price is, but HomeBot also have all of the mortgage data associated with the consumer's property. And what that means is they can derive all of these interesting stats that the consumer cares about. Like, for instance, what is the net worth of the property to you as the consumer based on your loan, right? It can tell you how much you pay toward principal, how much you pay toward interest, what is the actual, savings that you can get by refinancing. Your lender is going to love people who click on that, right? How much they could afford if they were to use their equity to buy a new home. Obviously, great signals for you about their interest in selling and their interest in potentially buying and selling, right? It even goes into detail of if the consumer rented their property on Airbnb, how much money they could actually make, right? There's even more stuff on the report that I'm not showing you, but you can see this is way deeper than a Zestimate's value at the top of a screen or I'll contact you later, right? And what we find is that when we give something of value like this, that the conversation with the consumer is better, right? And also the nurture experience is better. The open rates, the connection with the client, all of that kind of stuff is better, which I'll talk about in a second. Barry and Gabe, anything else you want to add about the power of this HomeBot experience that we've integrated with our seller lead generation?
The only thing I'd probably add to that is just it's an experience. I think a lot of people are used to like some sort of home valuation page or just somebody typing in an address and just displaying a number. And I think just as people learn about this and how it's integrated with what we're doing on the Ylopo website and everything, and then what we're passing through to them, it's an entire experience. I think that's why it's so exciting. And until you really get into it and start looking at all these different things, that you don't really truly understand that difference between just a valuation page.
Well, and yeah, and that's a great point, Gabe. And you know, one of the things Ylopo's done a really good job of is capturing what is motivating the quote lead, which is actually a human, right? What's motivating to them. And you know, HomeBot provides a unique opportunity in that it not only gets the home value, but because it finds out what is owed on the mortgage instantly, they're actually able to display equity, which doesn't sound groundbreaking. But when you're a homeowner, yes, at some point you care about your home value, but really you care about your home value because of how much equity you have. And so this is proven to be an incredible carrot, so to speak, to bring people in. And I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a page convert as high. How high does this page convert when the lead lands on it? Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh yeah, it's 13.6%, which is in pay-per-click seller lead generation insane. It's probably double what a average home valuation experience converts at.
And
you know, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to add that it's nice that it is interactive. So there's that experience, there's the interactiveness to it where you're engaging, and it's engaging with the lead, and the agent are, you know, sort of engaging in this through technology, of course, but all of this data, that all does get flowed through into, you know, into that central location, into their CRM, right? So then they can go back and look through it, which that's really important too, that it's not just, you know, here's a bunch of data for the lead or the consumer, but then the agent is also shared this information. So then they can see what they're looking at as well, right?
Right. And I was exactly. And I was actually just, you know, in a meeting with G and some of the other folks. And I said to them, like, you know, I've been in the business for 22 years and I've never actually had a seller lead source that produced listings at scale consistently month over. And it's like, and I said to them, finally, you know, I've got something where I know if I spend money, I'm actually going to obtain homeowners that are possibly looking at selling in the next 6 to 12 months. And it's so simple to say it that way, but it's the truth. Like, this is actually working for us. In the last 90 days, we've listed, I've lost track, but it's somewhere between 10 to 13 sales as a result of just these seller leads. They've proven to be that good.
Yeah, and you know, cost-wise, obviously they're more expensive than buyer leads. Their average cost is $35, but you know, in current market, to get, you know, even one seller lead for 5 buyer leads, I would suspect the ROI is higher on the seller side. And what's great about these leads is 28% say they need to sell my home for top dollar, but 10% say they need to refinance, right? So seller leads, I think, are very powerful, you know, mortgage leads for your lenders and your co-marketing partners. Usually co-marketing is on the buyer side, right? And agents aren't as willing to, or lenders aren't as willing to co-market on the seller side, because of how rich of the data set we provide on refinance leads, as well as giving them refinance opportunities in the HomeBot experience. The ROI for lenders is going to be much better, which means that your cost is lowered because they're co-marketing with you, right? So that's another important point I wanted to make.
Yeah, I asked my lender recently, how many of the agents that you co-market with and help share in the cost for leads are sending you refi leads? He's 0. And I said, okay, so, you know, then me sending these to you, that's valuable to you, right? And I'm buttering up because I want more money from them. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't buy leads unless I have a lender sharing in the cost of those. And my lender has been partnered with me for 10 years, and he's effectively split the cost 50-50. So that's decreased my overhead. So this is a value add to your lender partners. Huge value.
I'm going to comment you on the cost per lead, and at service level, 100% right. Just setting expectations as far as generating them it is a higher cost per lead. But what I love to talk to people about this, really break that down as well, though. So you lender, great point, right? Bring it in, huge value add. So it brings that because they can cover in most places up to half. Make sure you're checking with RESP and everything. But also, we all know this, every listing should generate you 2 to 3 buyer leads as well. And to me, I think these are a high quality buyer lead because it's either a sign call or an inquiry or something like that. So I think if you really look at that true cost per lead, I really don't think it's any higher other than a higher quality if you really look at what you get for it. That's what I love about seller lead gen.
Yeah, and just even having the loan officer getting someone partnered, the marketing partners that you can have with you that helps offset your costs, but then also it does provide value too for your leads, because now you're not just saying, hey, I can help, sell your property for you, but when, or if you're thinking about refinancing, or if you're thinking about another one, now I can also, there's a lender here that can help you get the best rate and whatever. So you add value to that as well with your marketing partners, like your loan officers. So that's always something great, just continually adding value to all of your clients and anyone you talk to.
100%. Awesome. So you saw seller PPC. That's one source of great seller leads. And those are what I call pure seller leads, right? Because those are obviously people asking for their home address and the home valuation. The second source of seller leads that I think any agent today, if you're not doing this, like, you are in major trouble because, all of your competitors are doing it. And that's called Google local services ads, right? And let me jump ahead and quickly explain that what that is. When Google has made a change, when you type in any keyword related to a realtor, a real estate agent, and in some cases, even real estate, instead of showing Google ads at the very top, Google has a certification process now where you can register as a professional with Google, do a background check, do a license check, go through a bunch of hoops, and then Google will potentially feature you at the very top of the Google results for realtor and residence with your photo, with your reviews, with other information that's valuable. And the call to action when the consumer sees all of these is they click on a profile and they're asked to call you about your services, right? So the only call to action right here, call this person, right? And so a LSA lead is not only a consumer who is specifically interested in talking to a realtor. And why would you do that? We've found that most of the time they're interested in listing, and then some of the time they're buyers, but they're out of town buyers, right? If you're in town and you're looking for a home for sale, you type in homes for sale in Santa Monica. You don't necessarily look for a realtor. So these are very down funnel leads. In addition to that, you don't have to chase these leads, right? With any other lead source, you have to go and pursue these leads, which takes time, effort. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. It's a numbers game. All of these leads coming from LSA is someone calling you, right? So it's phenomenally valuable. And it's, I think, the hottest marketing product in real estate today. So a lot of you probably have already registered for this, but Ylopo helps you manage all of this, right? When it comes to LSA, what's just as important as getting the profile set up is having a really rich Google My Business page, because that Google My Business page is your profile that connects to your LSA account, right? So you can see Barry's as an example. When you type in Barry Jenkins Realtor, he's got a full page on the right-hand side with all of his reviews, which shows up on his LSA, his information, what he sells, all of that, right? So again, you should be doing this yourself, but if you obviously are part of the Ylopo ecosystem, we do all of this for you. And what we basically found is that not only are these high quality leads, but they're low cost. And the reason they're low cost is because you only pay when someone calls you, right? Google doesn't have any other products like this. Usually, if you click on the ad or you appear on the screen, Google charges you money, right? They're so confident in these leads that they actually only charge you for phone calls that come in directly to you. The second thing is these are all not good calls, right? we find actually almost 50% of all calls are irrelevant. They're looking for a plumber. They're looking for property management. It happens, right? Your phone, your email, your information is up there. They're going to call you, etc. Now, what we do is what Google does is they allow you to get all of those irrelevant calls refunded, which means you don't pay them, right? This is really significant. If we generate 100 seller leads for you, 10, 15 of them probably gave you a bad phone number. That's just lead generation, right? They might not be looking for selling. They might be looking for, refinance rates for whatever is the case, right? With those Google leads, it is what it is. You already paid for the click. You're out of luck, right? Like that's just a numbers game. With Google LSA, you actually can get those refunded, right? So your quality of lead automatically increases because you're only paying for what are actually good leads about real estate, right? So this is why it's so powerful. It's both high quality as well as low cost. Now,
yeah. So I just, anybody listening to this right now, I mean, this is literally what this is. We all get called nonstop. This rings, people selling us things, get you to the top of Google, do this, do that. Just think of if there was a call, literally it's like, hey, I want to make sure if you're looking for sellers or even buyers, but we get a lot of sellers here that are willing to call you. And only if they call you and they're actually looking to buy or sell, do you have to pay for that lead. No other money. And if they do call you, answer and it's not looking to buy or sell, we'll refund it. Are you interested? Like literally, we've been dreaming about this since we started lead generation, and that's literally what this is. It's literally inbound calls for somebody looking to buy or sell, and you only pay for what you get. Like that, I just don't know if that really sets in. Like it's insane that this is out there and that it works. And if you're not taking advantage of it, this is a supplemental, almost like guaranteed, strong, hot lead source that you only pay when you get it. It's incredible.
Yeah, this is definitely something that you've got to do no matter what. I mean, having all of your information online. I mean, don't be that top secret agent that no one can find any information on you, right? You should be listed and you should have your information public so people can find you, call you, and so you can do lead generation. I mean, that's really simple math there.
100%. Awesome. So with LSA though, it's not all good news, right? So there are, first off, let me say, if you're on LSA, it's not about how much you want to spend. It's about how much you can spend. There's not that many people looking for real estate agent and realtor on Google, right? And you're competing against every agent in your market. And I've never had a client say, turn this off for me. I don't want seller leads that are calling me, right? It's more about how do I spend more money here so I get more leads, right? And what we found is, one, large portion of these leads are irrelevant, 40% plus. That means you got to get them refunded, right? We automatically do that for you. But if you're doing this yourself, you got to go into the Google dashboard and request a refund and provide a reason for it. You need to pick up your phone calls. Only 56% of our calls that are coming into Google are being answered. These are really good leads. And if you don't answer those calls, Google ranks you lower, right? You need to optimize your GMB page. So 90% of all of our LSAs are linked to a GMB, which means that all of your reviews that show up on your LSA ad are reviews on your Google My Business page, right? If you don't have a Google My Business page, you got to go and create one. Again, we can help you do that, but you got to make sure that your reputation is secure on Google. And then the last thing is gathering reviews, right? So what we found is if you have under 10 reviews, you average 6 calls per month. If you have over 100 reviews, you get over 20 calls a month, right? So that's a huge difference based on the review volume. The more you can do to get reviews, the better. We have some tools for helping you do that, but it's something that you need to be doing as part of your business. So how does Ylopo help, right? We are going to be in beta on all of these LSA solutions in July. So by the time you guys go live, if you do LSA, we can do all of this for you. The first is we automatically get you credits for all of your bad leads. So you never have to worry about it. 40% of your calls coming in are going to be refunded, right? So it's peace of mind. You're not overpaying for all of that. We have also set up an instant response call center. And so instead of 56% of the leads getting called or picked up, we're going to get you over 80% because we're going to answer all of those calls, right? And when we do that, it's going to improve your reputation, and it's going to get you more leads that are significant because we answer all the calls. We're going to get all of the Google LSA leads directly into your CRM with a recording. That way you can manage all of those leads directly in Wise Agent. We're going to optimize your GMB, and we're going to help you with your review collection automation, right? So there's a wealth of stuff we're doing around Google LSA. Now, what's great about both the PPC leads and the LSA leads is that we are getting all of this into Wise Agent, right? So first thing I'll say is go to www.ylopo.com/wiseagent. Not only are you going to find integrate information about Ylopo, but we have put on there a 20-minute walkthrough of the Wise Agent and Ylopo integration, so you can see exactly how it works in detail, right? I don't want to spend a ton of time on that just because we already created the video, but let me just say that we're able to drop in new leads into Wise Agent, works perfectly. We're able to auto import other lead sources. So if you're getting leads from Zillow, Realtor.com, whatever lead source, we can automatically pull it into our system and treat them as new leads. We can tag every lead. We can drop notes in the CRM. And then we can also drop in actual property views directly into the system, right? So, if they viewed 5 properties, you're going to be able to access all of those properties directly from a Wise Agent, right? Our goal here is that pretty much you don't have to leave Wise Agent in order to manage your leads in Ylopo, right? All the information is going to be there for you. So we're very excited, obviously, about this, and go to Wise Agent, Ylopo/Wise Agent to, if you want to get a deeper review, or just contact my team, right? We'll obviously take you through that. So all of the new lead generation I've shown you so far, that's all fantastic, right? But what is just as powerful about our system is that we can nurture all of your existing leads, right? So we're going to take all of your sphere, all of your past clients, anyone who has an address, basically, and we can set them up on all of our nurture technology, right? And so if you have 500 to 1,000 past clients or people in your sphere that you have home addresses for, you can set them all up on our system, right? So what are we going to do for those leads? First thing is we're going to nurture them through email. Every single week, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever we set for you automatically, and also what you set on our back end, we're going to send them the email with the estimated value of their home as a big button, right? So they click on that, they go straight into HomeBot. In that same email alert, we also show them market trends in the area, and we actually show them recently sold, under contract, and active listings in the market, right? So this is an email alert that is, in my opinion, the most comprehensive one that sellers can get, because it has action-packed all of the content that's there, right? And this email alert gets a 50% open rate when we send it out, which is insane, right? So that means you have 1,000 people in your database. When we send out an email, 400 to 500 of those people are going to open it because they're interested in the value of their home, right? So it's very significant. In addition to that, to the email marketing we're doing, we are also targeting these people on Facebook and remarketing to them, right? And when we're remarketing to them, we're not just showing you a fancy photo of, hey, call us, or whatever is the case. We give them value. And one of the value we provide them is that we have access to actual listings that get sold in your market, right? And so we are able to follow them around and show them, hey, here's a home that was on the market for 30 days. Here's a home that's marketed on the 25 days. These have all been sold, right? So it creates urgency for them. And they're probably nosy about their home price. So they're going to click on sold listings that are nearby them to find out about their, their information, right? So we're hitting them on both email as well as on Facebook. The last thing we do, oops, let me pause this for a second, is great, engaging them with content, fantastic, right? They're going to value that. But that doesn't put your brand front and center in front of the consumer all the time. And so what we're also going to do as a last step is we build out a collection of videos for you that we refresh monthly, that we white label for you, right? So these are videos that's going to play in front of the consumer all over the web, or on Facebook and Instagram and through the Facebook audience network. And we are going to play these high quality video ads in front of the consumer, right? So let me show you an example of that so you understand where we're going with this. So you can see this is a very high production video that frankly, you're not going to be able to do yourself, right? Like you have to have a video team that does this. It feels and looks like your advertisement, right? But in fact, it is a template that we've created that you've white labeled. So you have to do nothing. And this is running 24/7 for you, right? So all of that activity we are doing for your entire database. And as I mentioned before, we're piping all of this data into Wise Agent, and we're also pulling this data out of Wise Agent, right? So if you have a lead that was assigned to John Smith and now it's assigned to Jane Doe, as soon as that change happens, all of your alerts, all of your texting that we do, which I'll talk about in a second, will go into, will change to Jane Doe's signature and Jane Doe's information, right? If you move a lead from a lead stage to a hot prospect stage, we know about that. We can trigger certain actions based on that, right? If you complete a task, if you remove a tag, and like I said, we'll have a whole video on all of this stuff, but any changes that you make that's significant on the CRM side, we receive that data as well, right? So this is a two-way integration where we're piping a ton of data into Wise Agent. We're pulling a ton of data out of Wise Agent. We coordinate all of this. So both your new lead generation and your lead nurture are all happening inside the system and fully visible to you.
Yeah, and this is important because so as you're having you're creating these conversations with the leads that you're getting, and you're changing the tags, you're adding tasks or completing them or putting them in different, statuses or whatever you're doing, that's all being, on the back end being talked to directly to Ylopo. You don't really have to do anything else on the Ylopo side. We did, our teams, right? She did everything else for you in the background. So then you just have the conversations, keep your tags and your notes and everything, and the statuses up to date. And then everything else just happens automatically on the back end. So that's the beauty of the integration. You don't have to do double the work.
Awesome. Hey, Gabe and Barry, anything else you guys want to add about how we nurture seller leads?
Yeah, well, I mean, the consumer uses my website, and it doesn't sound amazing, but it actually is, because over my career, I've been able to buy leads, but keeping them in my sandbox has been challenging, to say the least. And now, week after week, month after month, people in my database come back to me, and it's become such a constant that I've had to recreate my business, and for good reason. I'm able to buy less new, and my marketing costs by marketing to my old is much cheaper. And I've created an entire business model around people that have been in my database 5, 6, 7 years that just, they've seen my brand every month. They're getting valuable content from me every week, every month. And now they're clicking a button that says, can you come over and sell my home? I've never seen anything like it. So if you want to not only buy leads, but keep them in your virtual sandbox, then Ylopo is the system to use. It's why I went all in with them back in 2016. I saw what Zillow and Realtor.com were doing. No, I'm not mad at them for it, but I saw where they were going and I needed to create my own universe. And that's what Ylopo has been able to do for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just going to add, I mean, this is a great supplement to, if you have 1,000 people in your database, it's really difficult and you're just a solo agent, let's say. That's, great for you, but it's really difficult to keep in constant connection with 1,000 people if there's just one of you. So this is just something that just adds to that, where of course you're going to keep your sphere, your tight-knit people, and you've got, hopefully a few dozen of those people that you talk to consistently on the phone, you do your pop-bys, you build that relationship. But those outlier ones that you're buying the leads, you're doing things, you need to have some kind of supplement to keep your name, your brand in front of them at all times. And this is a great way of doing that.
And I think it's actually a combination of both those, right? So it's even not just the ones you're buying, but that sphere. For pennies on the dollar, really what you're generating new leads, you can also be doing the remarketing, retargeting. In fact, I think our last 2 listings that went live were actually people who have been in our database for years that when we brought over, added them to remarketing, got the brand, engaged them, teed off Raya, the ISA, who starts talking to them using the scripts that Barry wrote, literally sets the appointment, and we're literally getting a signed offer on it today, 700,000, right? So literally here's somebody who's been in our ecosystem for 4 years, in addition to the ones we're getting from new lead gen, but it's pennies on the dollar. So yeah, that single agent or whoever, they can really rely on their tools, their tech stack, doing a lot of the work so they can now just react to the activity.
Exactly, yeah. That's a great way of putting it.
Well, that's a great segue into Raya. So, I want, this is Barry's baby. So I want Barry to talk about what he's done for Raya for sellers. But let me kind of explain Raya really quickly to all of you who are not in Ylopo's world. So Raya stands for Real Estate as Your Assistant. And it is a chatbot that we have created that will actually connect with consumers over text message as your assistant and set those leads as appointments for you, right? So this is a really sophisticated chatbot. We have 2 million conversations going through it every month. And what we're able to do is have a sophisticated qualifying lead flow that we take the consumer through, just like an ISA would, to ultimately qualify and set appointments for you, right? So I'll show you in a second. And actually, let me just jump ahead here because I want to show you the stats, because a lot of people just can't believe that a chatbot is going to be really effective. We get right now, out of 100 leads, 48 of them that say, that they want to have, that has a conversation with their chatbot, right? So almost 1 out of 2 tech leads that we bring into our system, we have a conversation with, right? And the key to focus on is this 11.5 number. So the number of leads that have been set as appointments or ready to follow up with the agent is 11.5 out of the 100 leads that are generated, right? So that means if you did nothing else and you just let Raya work for you, then out of 100 leads, 11 to 12 of them are going to be teed up for you to have a conversation, right? That's crazy. That means you only have to convert 1 or 2 out of those 11 to 12 appointments, and you're going to get an ROI from the system, right? So that's what's so powerful about Raya. And so Barry, can you talk specifically about the entire rewrite you did and how it impacts buyers, or sorry, sellers?
Yeah. So I decided I would take some risks, calculated, but where I knew through talking with our AI engineers what was possible and how intelligent and sophisticated this system was. And so I ran with it. I rewrote the drip campaigns to be more casual, mainly because I've never met a homeowner that wasn't like an investor that was actually excited about selling their home, excited about talking about it. You know, it's just not something that we as the consumer enjoys. So rather than having a system that texts the consumer and says, "Hi, would you like to sell your home?" or something to that effect, what we do is we send all this HomeBot data, we send all this engaging data, and then we use the chatbot to start the conversation. And so what an example of this would be, "Hi, we just sent the report for," and then the zip code that you requested to this email address. Can you check and see if it landed in your inbox, or maybe it might have gone into spam? And so, you know, she's starting this conversation just very casual in nature. And then she's able to surface intentionality to the point where she's asking them questions like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being poor and 10 being excellent, what would you say the value or the condition is? And based on the response, she goes down a different path. She doesn't ask, "Do you have an agent?" She asks, "Have you signed anything that requires you to only work with one agent?" You know, so it's very specific in nature. And then, you know, she takes what the person has said, she summarizes it. You know, "Okay, so I hear now, you know, based on what you've said, this is the data that I have. You know, normally we like to set up a time to meet. Are nights or weekends better for you?" And she's actually setting those appointments. You know, she's also injecting live data about your database. So Ylopo is able to see the consumer's behavior in your database on your Ylopo site. And so Raya will text them and say, "Hey, we pulled the data. There's 422 people shopping for a home in your area that are in my database. This is amazing. Would you like me to send you a report?" You know, so she's actually taking what's going on in your database and internalizing it and sending it to the consumer. And so she's also waiting for the consumer to do something important on your website. We call those behavioral texts, and we rewrote all of them. So if the consumer, for example, checks their home value, she's going to text them within 3 to 6 hours, typically, and a relevant text message to their behavior. And so she's always watching, always engaging, providing live data. And we started with Raya back in 2019. And the feature set that we launched in 2019, still to this day, nobody has come up with. But since that time, we've iterated on it 2 to 3 times. And so that's where the genius of a partnership like Wise Agent and Ylopo really comes to light, because we've allowed Wise Agent to make one of the best CRMs that you're going to be able to come up with. And while you're doing that, we're so far ahead with AI and digital marketing and remarketing that we're able to continue to outpace your competition so that you get to be on the cutting edge consistently. And so Raya has been, she uses emojis, which look, you know, if you're talking to a stranger and they start using a lot of emojis in your first conversation, there's a really good chance you're going to look like a weirdo. And so knowing how to include emojis in a way that isn't strange, you know, it took some trial and error, but now she establishes trust. And then right about halfway through the conversation, she'll start to eke in an emoji that's relevant to the conversation. And so a lot of care, a lot of thought has been put into it, and the proof's in the pudding. It's working really well.
You know what's awesome about that? You triggered something, Barry. I was just curious. The listing that we're waiting on the acceptance right now to come back. I was curious. It took 8 text messages, right? So the other thing is, Raya doesn't give up. She doesn't get her feelings hurt. Most agents are like, "Well, I've texted a few times, they haven't responded." And I was just counting all the text messages. There are 8. The 7th was, we just did a quick search and we see that we have 769 buyers for a home like yours. No response like a day or 2 later. Then it was another offer of a home valuation when they finally responded, and then it goes through and sets the appointment. So that's the other thing that's great about it is is there's this constant monitoring of activity, which most of us can't do. Whether you're a solo agent or an agent on a team, right? You have to have tools that are monitoring and watching your back for you, right? Almost like your security system on your house. It's monitoring everything that's going on. And so as all these 8 text messages are going, and when they start responding, everything is getting, pushed back to the CRM. And as the agent, you're getting notified, so you can jump in whenever you want. But Ryan never gets offended and just keeps asking. As I'm watching those responses, she keeps going. And I know agents would have given up on a lot of those. And it was fantastic, all the way to where he finally said, yes, you can come over. She literally set the appointment. So it's scripting that works, that we teach, but a lot of agents sometimes just don't feel like they can send or push forward to, and it works.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, Rye is one of our most popular features. And exactly like everyone said, what's great about Wise Agent integration is all of the conversations goes into Wise Agent, and you can just click a button, turn Rye off, turn Rye on, take over the conversation, all of that good stuff. So we can demo all of that for you. And Barry, so now we've kind of talked about, 3 aspects, right? Lead generation, lead nurture, lead conversion. And the last thing we want to talk about is how we help you win listings now that you've got the seller on the hook, right? So we have a couple ways of doing that. Barry, do you want to talk about the seller report really quickly?
Yeah, look, I mean, agents, when they go into a listing appointment, always say, hey, I've got buyers looking for your home. It's to the point where that, marketing is all about setting yourself apart, and everybody's saying the same thing when you go on a listing appointment. And in my market, my agents are typically up against 5 other agents. Well, we walk in and we don't say we have buyers looking in our market. What we say is we've hired the most advanced real estate marketing firm to market our listings. And we went ahead and we pinged them and asked them to pull a report of the marketing that we're planning on doing, the results, things like that. And I actually printed out a copy. So we do an iPad presentation, but then we print out this document we call the seller report, put it in a folder, and then we open the folder and we show the consumer this report. The first 3 pages talks about the marketing strategy, which is important. But the 4th page is where the nail in the coffin. It literally displays a list of names, their buying timeline, and their search parameters. It grays out their name and email address for the consumer. And if we have the ability to remove that, but the consumer doesn't. And I say, like, look, I know everybody says they have buyers, but we have an actual list of names. If you give me the honor of listing your home, I'm gonna contact these people and tell them about your house. We rarely ever lose now because of this. And I think it's just so compelling to see a tangible list of names that it just works.
Now that's just another way of, providing that value. You're coming into the presentation saying, I already have something. This is my plan. This is what the action is going to be. As soon as you sign this agreement with me, then this is what I'm going to do next. These are, and that's just you providing value as an agent, which you should always be doing in every way, right? So that's a really cool, cool feature there.
Awesome. Okay, great. So in the interest of time, I want to show you guys one more feature on the seller side. And then, I encourage everyone, if they want to get more details, to get a demo on our platform. So on the Diva side, so we have a platform called Dynamic Video Ads, right? And you already saw a portion of that with the white labeled branding videos that we run for you on an automated basis. What we're also able to do is take that technology and turn any of your listings automatically into a high performing video ad across all of the different places where you want video, right? And so all you have to do is go to our dashboard, give us an MLS number, and we basically take care of the rest. And here's an example of the video that we build out for you, for a video ad that we build out for you. So once again, completely branded to you, shows off the listing. All you have to do is put in an MLS number and answer a couple of questions, and we build everything else for you, right? And what's great about this ad is it makes you stand out, right? Like, this is not something that an agent would spend time manually putting together. And what we do is not only do we provide the video, but we provide custom reporting that's one touch for every single ad that we run. So you can actually send an HTML link, or sorry, not an HTML, a textable link, or you can send an email to your client that with a PDF, right, that says, here's exactly how I'm marketing for you, and here's an example of the video ads that I've created on your behalf, right? So this definitely helps you win more listings and keep your seller happy.
Well, and so the Diva ads to me are impressive because you just use a little bit of money and thousands of people are reached. And then you use this report to look like a rock star. I actually, when we designed it so that it was before the market is what it is, but basically you give them this and it's basically, it keeps you employed because the homeowner's like, wow, this guy's really working, or this girl's really working. But the other thing I was going to say is, you go into Wise Agent and you're able to sort and look at website activity. And this encompasses what Gabe and I do all day. We sit at in our CRM, we sort and filter website activity inside of the CRM. And then we do stuff. We send those people things. We try to talk to them because they're engaging all of the cool stuff that we're putting out. And so instead of just the days of just calling all the time and hoping that you're going to be at the right place at the right time, if you want to work that way, that's fine. But what we've decided to do is we call the new ones for a few days, but then the rest of our day is spent following up on all the old stuff that's engaging all of this content. It's a complete transformation. And that's why the integration with the CRM is so important.
Yeah, that's a great way of, when you have, it doesn't matter what number of contacts you have, you want to talk to the ones that are engaging. Those are the people that you're going to call first. You don't want to just take a stab in the dark, like, I'm going to call this random person and you don't know. When you're able to sort through, and that's why we have so many search filters in Wise Agent, is for you to be able to sort through them, see who's actively looking at your at your properties, at your site, and you can go in there and see these activities. And those are the people that you call first. Those are the ones that you're engaging with. And that happens with everything. Who's opening up your emails, who's responding to your text messages, who's doing all of that stuff. You want to gather that list. And those are the people that are going to be at the top of your priority to reach out to. That's just the way to do it. So you're making those educated guesses. They're already there looking. So use that data to your advantage. We did get a couple of questions. I'll let you do this. Sorry, I'll let you do this summary.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So really quick summary. The tools that you've seen today helps generate high quality leads, nurture and engage your existing homeowners, and then tools to help you win more listings, right? So like I said, there's a wealth of stuff that Ylopo does outside of sellers. I could spend an hour easily talking about that, but we wanted to, while the iron's hot, talk about all of the tools related to sellers. And so at this point, if you're interested in Ylopo, you want to learn the rest of our tool set, you want to see how it works for a business and how we integrate with Wise Agent, just go to ylopo.com, Wise Agent. And for anyone who's on this webinar, we're going to give you a special offer. You're going to get $500 off of your setup fee. And we're going to give you 60 days of Raya free, which is over $600 of value. So just by being here, thank you for sticking it out for an hour. But we're going to give you over $1,100 off our platform. And so I encourage all of you guys, just check out our platform. And even if what we do doesn't fit you, you need to be on a digital marketing platform that complements Wise Agent, that does all of this stuff, or you got to learn how to do it yourself, right? It's that important. Cool. Leave the rest of the time for questions.
Yeah, so one of the questions was, does this work with a team environment? And, I wanted to just say on that, we have, Wise Agent is really team friendly. And so if you do have a team, and we've been testing this thoroughly, and something that a couple of people are working on right now. And so you can absolutely have your team going in here and connecting it to your website and getting those leads assigned to outside team members from within Wise Agent. So absolutely can use that. And then what happens if you belong to multiple MLS systems? Is that something that?
No problem. Yeah, we have clients that are in like 29 MLSs, so we can cover multiple MLSs on one website.
Okay, awesome. And then someone from Facebook is asking, if someone that's a current Ylopo client is moving from a different CRM wanting to come to Wise Agent, is that something that they can be helped with? So yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yep. Yeah, from the Ylopo side and from our side, we can help you guys with that. So just reach out to us, and I'm gonna have Sarah's on here, and she's gonna post some links in here about how to reach our support staff and get everything in the integration, so you guys can get all of that going. Reach out to G and his team, and also to my team here. Just go to wiseagent.com, and we'll help you set everything up. So awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys today. I appreciate everyone being on. Thanks so much for all the information, and G and Gabe and Barry, thank you guys for all of that. I'll be back next week with our partners from Land Voice, and we're going to be talking about overcoming some low inventory, and they're going to be talking about what they're doing over at Land Voice. So we're excited to have all these partners, and we're excited to, of course, be partnered with Ylopo. You guys are doing some awesome things there. So I guess one last question. Can you set a minimum value for leads to buy? I only want leads with homes over 700,000. Is that something you guys can do?
So there's no way to do that, in the sense that if someone looks for a home for sale in XYZ location, we have no idea what type of property they're looking for, right? But what we can do, and what I recommend, is to talk to our marketing team. So marketing@ylopo.com is our marketing team. If you're new, obviously, you've got to go through the sales process and become a client. But once you're a client, my team can do a lot of different optimizations. So for instance, if you're targeting areas that have a higher price point, we can move your marketing there. We can sort your ads in such a way that we show more expensive homes first. So there's different techniques that we can do. We can't guarantee it, but we certainly can help.
Yeah, that was a great question. So I'm glad we were able to fit that in within our time here. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys being on. Take care.
Take care. Bye.